Hey everyone, welcome to another video in the Spark Structure Streaming with Kafka playlist. In this video, we'll be talking about Kafka Producer. So let's get started. So in the previous lecture, we have created the cluster. So if you don't have anything right now, so you can just create a cluster from here. So once you have the cluster ready and running, few things that you have to do. You come here and you create the topic. So in a previous previous lecture, we had already created one topic. So if you don't have any topic, you can just create the topic from here. Once that's done, we are creating a Kafka Producer application, right? So from Kafka Producer, we want to connect to Confluent Cloud. So we'll be needing some username and password. This is what it is called as API keys, right? So I had already created one API key. If you don't have any, you can do like add key, create as my account, and you can just copy this key and secret somewhere, or you can download and continue. So it will be we'll be using this to connect to Confluent and produce some messages, right? Once that's done, you go to cluster settings, and if you see that you have something called as bootstrap server. So we'll be needing this because we want to connect to this particular cluster, and that is defined by this bootstrap server, right? So you copy this and note it somewhere, and we'll be using this. Okay, now in this lecture we'll be developing a Kafka Producer application using Python. So I have used PyCharm to develop this. You can use any ID, whatever you need, right? So let me go to PyCharm. So we are using Confluent Kafka library. So this is produced by Confluent itself. So we'll be using that library to produce the messages, right? So I have created a sample producer here. So before that, what I did was I created some environment variables. So you can go to edit configuration, right? So whatever file that you are creating to, and I have added some environment variables like Kafka API key and Kafka API secret. As a Kafka producer, the first thing that you need is a configuration, right? So this is where you define all your stuff, like what's the bootstrap servers, a lot of configuration you have to define here, right? So first property is bootstrap server. This is the bootstrap server that we copied, right? We copied from cluster settings. There are few security configuration that you need to provide, like security protocol. You have SASL mechanisms, and this is where you define the username and password, right? So I'm using os.getEnv to get the env variables, right? And you have to, whatever producer application that you're writing to, you need to provide an identifier for that particular application. So I'm just making the ID as transaction producer. So this is the simplest configuration that you need to connect to Kafka and produce the messages, right? So then we'll be just initializing the producer. So this is coming from Confluent Kafka. It defined the topic. So we have created one for my first topic. Okay, so we are creating a produce message. So this is being used to create the messages. So we are just going through a loop. So we are just creating some dummy messages. So I'm creating a key as like this and creating a value. So both these are like string type, and I'm just using this to produce the messages. Then it's very simple. You have a producer.produce method. You have to provide three properties here. One is topic, one key, and value, right? So this is all you need to produce the messages, right? There are a few extra things that you have to do. So we are just doing this polling. So I'll be talking about why we are doing this. So this is required for delivery report callback, and I'm just using some time.sleep method. So this is optional, just to show that, okay, just to wait for some time before sending some new messages, right? and then I'm doing producer.flush. This means whenever this for loop ends, right, if there are any messages left in the producer, so you just flush it and send all the messages to Kafka. Then I'm just calling that particular method. So let me just run this and let's see. So if we see that it has started producing the messages, so these are all the messages. So we are currently producing 10 messages. So from key 1 to key 9, it produced the messages, right? So let me go to the topic. So go to the topic, my first topic, go to messages. So you see that there are already 10 messages came, right? So each will have its own timestamp. So this timestamp is something that you can also send as a one more parameter, but what it does, Kafka added automatically. So whenever the data gets produced on the topic, it just add that timestamp, right? So you'll have a offset. We have talked about offset in previous lecture. You have a partition number and the key and the value, right? So you can just see what the value is. So we have already produced the messages here. Now let's see some other configuration that you can do on the config, correct? So I'll go back. So if you remember in our previous lecture, we have talked about acknowledgements, right? So that's something you can set on the config level. So what we are doing is we are doing acknowledgement and all. That means that whenever the data is written to leader partition as well as its replica, then it gives the acknowledgement back that all the data is properly written, right? So to get the acknowledgement, what you can do is you can add a callback function in the produce methods, right? So this is why I'm creating a callback function. So this is one function. What it does is if there are any errors, it just says that message delivery failed. And if there are no errors, it will say that, okay, this particular message is already written to this particular partition at offset. This is the offset, right? So let me just produce this message again. So if you see that as soon as we are producing some messages, you'll get a callback like this, that this particular message has been delivered to this topic with this particular partition at offset 4. So if there are any errors, suppose you want to handle that particular, it could be anything, right? It could be that message is not formatted, or it could be some network issue or anything like that, right? So you might want to handle that. So that's something you can do in delivery report. So there are some other configuration that I'd like to explain here. One is like retries. So it's nothing but suppose your producer is unable to send the messages, so it can do like retries automatically. There is two more important configurations are batch.size and linger.ms, right? So let me explain what this does. So what happens is, suppose you are sending all these messages, right? Like, and what as a producer, what you want to do is like you want to create a batch of the messages, right? So not like whenever you get one message you send it to Kafka. You don't want to do that because it will increase the network input output, right? Network IO. So what the producer does, it tries to create a batch of messages, right? Even if we have like a loop or something, it tries to add all the messages as a batch in its own queue. So the producer application has its own queue. This is like, you can think about like this is just a memory where you keep all the messages, you create a batch out of it, right? So what these two properties does, you just define what's the batch size could be. So this is in bytes, so it's like, I think it's 16 KB, right? So you define, okay, whenever I have a batch size of 16 KB, you gather all those messages and send it to Kafka, right? So it will wait till your batch size becomes 16 KB, right? But you do not want to wait like for infinite time to just get some messages and just get to this particular batch size, right? So that's why this millisecond, like linger.millisecond is. So what it does, it will wait till 5 millisecond, and if the batch size did not come around like 16 kb, then only it will send the records, right? So your producer is not kept on waiting for more messages to come, right? So these two properties are very important. So this is like how long to wait, and this is how what's the data size should be for the batch, right? And you can also send compression type. So if your messages are very huge, you can compress with gzip, and on the consumer, whenever you're consuming this data, you can uncompress this particular messages with that compression type, right? So I think this is all I wanted to share. So what I'll say is practice with all the configuration that I mentioned here, and let me know in the comment section if you have any question. In our next video, we'll be talking about Kafka consumer. So see you in the next video. Bye bye.